If you think the Earth spins around the sun, we've got to put the brakes on that carousel. This video will lay out undeniable proof that Earth doesn't move an inch, and it's the sun that's doing all the traveling overhead. Let's kick things off in a movie theater. Picture this. We've got Stanley sitting smack dab in the middle of the front row. Now up on the screen, let's put the sun right there. Stanley's staring straight at it. Now let's shuffle Stanley back to the middle of the theater all the way over to the left. To catch a glimpse of the sun, he's got to look right. Next up, we move Stanley to the middle of the back row. From here, Stanley's back to staring dead ahead at the sun. Time for another move. Stanley heads to the far right seat of the middle row. To see the sun this time, he's got to look left. Let's bring Stanley back to square one. And just like that, he's looking straight ahead at the sun again. It's as clear as day. Through this whole little shuffle, the sun hasn't budged. Stanley, though, he's made a complete lap around the room, his gaze darting from right to left and back again. Let's call this move the zigzag walk. Stick with me, it'll come up again. But for now, let's head from the theater to the top of the world, right up to the Arctic Circle. What's the Arctic Circle, you ask? It's this ring around the Earth way up north where, during summer months, the sun doesn't even think about setting. Check out this animation to see what I mean. Now, focus up. This next bit is a time-lapse video shot right in the Arctic Circle. The camera's staying put, but the sun? It's making a beeline from left to right, skimming just over the horizon. If we kept the camera rolling, the sun would swing right behind us and pop up again where it started. Here's another clip, also from the Arctic Circle, but this time the camera's on a mission to track the sun's every move. And here's yet another video from a different spot. And another. And one more for good measure. So, you're wondering, how do these clips prove the sun's the one doing circles around Earth? Despite our daily view of the sun trekking from one end of the sky to the other, we're led to believe it's actually Earth spinning on its axis and orbiting the sun, making it seem like the sun's the one on the move. But folks, the real deal's been right in front of us all along, and we've been missing it. Here's the clincher. Imagine a mini Earth and sun. Up top, we've marked the Arctic Circle. Let's bring Stanley back into the picture, placing him at the edge of the Arctic Circle. Thanks to Earth's spin, Stanley's about to take a full circle tour, eyes locked on the sun the whole time. High noon and the sun's blasting down from directly overhead. 6 hours later, at 6 p.m., Earth's spin shifts Stanley to a spot where he's got to look right to see the sun. Fast forward another 6 hours, and it's midnight. Stanley's position has him facing straight at the sun again. Another 6-hour skip to 6 a.m., and Earth's spin nudges Stanley over to a new spot. After a full 24-hour spin, we're back to noon, and Stanley's right back where he started. Here's the kicker. For Stanley to keep up with the sun's path, his gaze had to shift from straight ahead to right, back straight, then left, and straight again. Repeat this gaze cycle, say 7 times, and it's nothing but Stanley doing a right, left, right, left, right. You get the picture, a zigzag pattern. Now you might think, well, Stanley did the same dance in the movie theater, and we know the sun was just chilling on the screen while Stanley did laps. Exactly my point. That's solid proof Earth is the one spinning. It's all been right there in front of you, yet still it seems we're not seeing it. Take another look. The camera's steady on the sun's trail, just like Stanley was. If Earth was spinning on its axis, then this camera should have caught what Stanley saw. Meaning, instead of just spinning round and round, the camera, tracking the sun, would have to zigzag, right, left, right, left, right. You following? Zigzag walk. The only possible conclusion from this whole experiment, Earth's planted firm and it's the sun that's taking laps around us. Still not getting it? Let's break it down to the simplest terms possible. Let's now put everything into perspective. Corporate science claims the Earth spins on its axis. If that's the case, here's the reality we'd be looking at. The Earth spins on its axis, with the sun visible off in the distance. From the lens of a camera on a space station, this is what you'd see. Now we freeze the space station, align the Earth and the sun in the same perspective, and place Stanley at the starting point. To see the sun, Stanley looks to his right. Let's start the journey. From our viewpoint, Stanley seems to follow the sun's path, rotating on the side nearer to us, and 12 hours later, Earth's spin brings him to this spot, but now he's looking left. Even though it appeared to us that Stanley moved from left to right, he actually stayed put. And from his perspective, it seemed like the sun was moving from right to left across the sky. The Earth keeps spinning in the same direction, but now, from our view, Stanley is moving along its farther side. 12 hours later, Stanley is back at the starting point. From his perspective, the sun has moved from left to right across the sky. Let's take 2 more full circles with Stanley along the polar line. On the top half of the screen, watch what Stanley would need to see from his perspective if the Earth is spinning on its axis. If the Earth were spinning, to someone on the Earth within the Arctic Circle, the sun would need to move to one side of the sky for 12 hours, and then to the other side for the next 12 hours. A zigzag walk. The Earth is flat and stationary, with the sun perpetually circling above it in the same direction. Corporate science, through strict censorship of the truth, works hard to keep up the lie of a spinning and spherical Earth. What are they keeping from us?